Hello everyone, this is Stephanie. Welcome to another video. So today we're going to work on the earrings. So these peyote and little brick stitch earrings that go with the last video. So this bracelet from the last video. So isn't that gorgeous? Absolutely enjoyed making that. It was lovely. So I wanted to make an earring to go with it. I did it all in the pattern, the Empress pattern, and I added some brick stitch at either end just to give it a little more of a sort of a rigidity, and because it is a flat peyote earring and you don't want it to bend all over the place. So it worked out really well. I love the way it looks on the ends. I think it's very, it's just, I don't know, but just very pretty. All right. Okay, so I'm going to clear this off. We'll get a materials list going and we'll get started. We have the ring, we have another ring, we have lots of pieces that will go, lots of Empress pieces as well. All right, so I'm going to clear this off. We'll get a materials list going and we'll get started. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy my channel. All right, let's get a materials list going. So you need two colors of Delica beads, a gold. I'm using a gold and this green one, but if you have the Emerging Spring collection, you can use the blue Delicas from there, and I'm using the ear wires from that collection as well, and you can use the Bicones, a couple of 4mm Bicones from there. So, grab your collection if you have it. So again, two colors of Delicas, an A, which is the trellis pattern here, and a B, which is the background, two Bicones, 4mm Bicones, a couple of 4mm jump rings. If they should be closed jump rings, but I didn't have any, so I'm using the jump lock jump rings, but we're going to incorporate that into the earring. So if you have a closed jump ring, that would be great. A couple of ear wires, stop bead, 8-pound Fireine. I'm using black satin. I have beeswax. I like waxing my thread these days. I'm using a size, there's an 11 beading needle, or you can use a 10 also. You might need a little thinner one at one point. I didn't, but just saying, just in case. Okay, I think that's it. So don't forget the No More Oops bead tray. This is the mini. How cute is that? My big mat. It's by Ringberries. Bronzepony 10 is a 10% off coupon code just for you. Just, save a couple of bucks for the big one. She will cut any size, pretty much. I think that if you request a particular size. I love this soft pink color. I hope it's in stock. I think that's it. So remember, everything is listed in the description box below. The video, color, size, shapes, amount of beads, everything you need for the project. Think places to purchase beads if you need to. All right, so I'm going to clear this off and we'll get started. Okay, let's get started. So thread your needle with about, let's say 5 feet, up to 5 feet of thread, 4 to 5. Put on a stop bead right in the middle. So you have half the thread coming out of one side, half the thread coming out of the other side. So you're going to choose your A and your B bead. So the A bead is the trellis pattern, the gold, and the B bead is the background. So you're going to pick up and drop down to your stop bead, 1 A, 2 B's, 4 A's, 1 bicone, 4 A's, 2 B's, and 1 A. So those are going to be your first 2 rows of our odd count peyote. So just get to this point and then come back and we'll start beading. Let's get beading. So here, this is what we have on our thread. I'm holding it this way. I have my stop bead at the top. Here's the beads I put on. The word should be somewhere at the top. Try not to obscure them too much with my hands. So what we're going to do is we're going to do row 3, and when we put row 3 on, and all the beads are going to shift into place. So the first 2 beads are going to be A beads. So pick up an A, skip the bottom bead, and sew through the following bead. So that's our first A on, and you want to make sure they sit next to each other. So it sits next to the bottom A bead. Now we're going to put another A on. So exiting here, skip the next bead, sew through the following one. Make sure that bead pops into place like that. So we have 2 A's on. We're going to pick up a B. We're going to, exiting here, skip this one, sew through the next one. Make sure that sits into place, like that. Pick up an A. We're going to skip the next bead and sew right through that bicone. That A on. Make sure it goes into place just like that. So now let's continue. myself situated. Okay, so I'm exiting the bicone now. I'm going to pick up an A. I'm going to skip the next A and sew through the following bead, which is that A bead. Make sure that pops into place, like that. Pick up a B. Exiting here, skipping this one, sewing through this one. Make sure that B pops into place. My last two beads are going to be A beads, so let's put the first A on. It's an A. Exiting here, skipping the next one, sewing through this one. Make sure that pops into place. This is what we have so far. Now our last bead is going to be an A, so we want to do our odd count turn. So pick up your A. You have this bead, you want it to be next to that one, right at the top. Just come on this through this way. So through this A, the one underneath it, and the one on the diagonal. You're going to do this every time we do the odd count turn, just like that. Gently bring it down. Use your finger to pop it over, or your needle. Come in, there you go. And now you just want to turn your thread around so it's coming through here. So you want to do it without any thread showing. So exiting here, so through this one, the one above it, and the one above that on the diagonal, so to the left there, and then down. This one. And this is what we have. All right, so get that done and then come on back and we'll continue. Okay, let's go to row 4. 1A. So I'm just sewing through the sticking out bead. And then the next two beads are going to be B beads. 1, 2. Then I'm going to pick up 3. Let me pop that into place. Okay. Pick up 3 A beads. I'm just going to sew through the next sticking out bead, which is the A bead under the bicone. So surrounding the bicone, like that. I'm going to keep it relatively loose. A B. So the next two beads are going to be our B's, B, and a B. And an A. Let's go to row 5. 1A. The next 3 beads are going to be B beads. So 1, 2, and here's number 3. So this bead, you're just going to sew through the 3 A beads. So these 3 we put on, so I'll get through first 2, and then number 3, and then we're going to do 3 A beads again, B beads. So 1, 2, 3. So I have my 3 B beads on, and then the last bead is going to be an A bead. So I'm going to pick up my A, and I'm going to do my turn. So exiting here, I'm just going to sew through these 3 on the edge. I'm going to pop that bead down, and then I just want to move this thread to here. So sewing through this one, these 2, and then down this one. So let's go to row 6. 1A, through the next sticking out bead. The next 2 beads are going to be B beads. So 1B, 2, and then pick up an A, and you want to sew through the middle bead of those 3 beads. So just this one, like that. And then another A through the next sticking out bead, which is this B bead, like that. And then 2 B beads. 1, 2, and 1 A. Okay, so this is what I have so far. So just get to this point and then come on back and we'll continue. Okay, so we're going to do row 7 now. So we're going to start decreasing so we get this part here. So we come in here. All right. So in order to do that, we're going to start this row with, we want this thread to be coming out of here. So we have to move the thread so it's exiting here, and that way we're decreasing. So I'm going to sew through this one. So exiting that gold one, I'm going to sew through the one next to it. The one to the side. Then the one next to that one, I'm going to go down. And then here, so I'm exiting this one, I'm going to go up this one. So just moving the thread around. So I'm exiting that bead, and that's going to bring my row in. All right, so we're going to pick up 1A. On our A, a B, an A, a B, an A, a B, and an A. Make sure you're just going through this bead like that. Oops. All right, so now we've decreased on this side, so we have to make sure we keep the decrease on the other side as well. So we're going to do row 8, but before we do that, we're exiting here. I want to exit here. I'm just going to sew through this one. Can do this. There we go. So I'm sewing through the bead next to the one I'm exiting, and then the one underneath that one. I'm going to go back up this one, and then down this one. So now I am up to row 8. So I'm going to put on 2 A beads. So that's 1, 2, 2 B beads, 1, 2, and then 2 A beads, 1, 2. So you see how we're coming in on each side. All right, so let's go to row 9. We have to turn around again, so we have to decrease and we have to end up here. So exiting here, it's going to sew through the next one. Then the one up here on the diagonal. Down this one. Then up this one. So now I've decreased again, Now we're going to put on 1A, 3 B's. 1, 2, 3 B's, and an A. Oops. Okay, so see how we're coming in? So I'm just going to let you get to that point and then come back and we'll continue. Okay, so we're going to decrease again. I want my thread coming out of here for row 10. So I'm exiting here, just going to sew through this one. And then this one. Up through this one. And then down through this one. So now I'm in the right place to add some more beads. So I'm going to put on an A. Two B's. And an A. Okay, now I have to turn around again. So exiting here. So up through this one. This one on the diagonal. Just moving my thread. Down this one. Then up this one. Put on an A. A B. And an A. One more time. Oh, a couple more times. So exiting here. Just moving my thread again. So exiting here. 2 A beads. 1, 2. To turn around again. And exit here. So through this one. This one. This one. And then up through this one. And put on 1 A bead. Just like that. So now we've come to the point on that side. So what you want to do is sew this thread in, exiting here. Just sew through several beads on the diagonal. So I just went right across, I went down this one to move the thread here. Then I'll do this one on the diagonal. And then you can just go back up the next bead, just to sort of lock it into place. And then you can clip off that thread and then maybe back here and we'll do the other side. Okay, this is what we have so far. So we're done with this side to this point, and I've sewn in my thread. So take off your stop bead and thread a needle, and then I just want you to just flip your piece over like this so that your thread is coming, you're going to be working this way. So your thread will be exiting this top bead here. So I want it to exit out of the bottom of the bead, not the top. So I'm just going to move my thread around. So through this one. Like that. I'm going to sew through this one. Up through this one. through this guy, and down through this one. So now my thread is exiting the top where I want it to be, and we're going to start on this side. So we're going to pick up a bead, sew through the next bead, which is a B, and then we're going to put on 2 A's, so 1 A, 2 A, so this is the second A's going there. I'm just going to go right through the bicone and out the other A. So it places that bead on like so. And then 2 more A's, so that's 1. And 2. And a B. Okay, so then we're going to go to row 2 of this side. So you can put on 2 A beads. So 1 and 2, a B, like that. Then you're going to pick up 5 A beads. And you're going to surround the bicone and sew through the next sticking out bead. So exiting here, we're going to sew through this bead right here. That's what that looks like. And you're going to leave that pretty loose. You're going to put on a B. And then 2 more A's. So 1. Then we're going to do our turn with the next A. So picking up my A, sewing through these 3 beads on the diagonal there. Pop it over. Sew through this one. These 2, or 1 at a time. I'll get the 2. And then down this one. Okay, let's do one more row, or 3, so an A. A B. Another B. I'm going to take this B and I'm going to sew through the 5 A beads that we put on the previous row. So picking up a B, sewing through these 5, so that's 3, 4, 5, like that. Another B, another B, and an A. Okay, so just get to this point and then come back and we'll continue. Let's continue. So 1A, two B's, so 1, 2, and now we're going to take a B and we're going to sew through the 3 center beads of those 5 beads. We put those 5 A beads, so not this one, but this one, and then the next one. Those are the 3 center beads. Pop on that bead, and then 3 B's. And an A, so we're going to do our turn. Let's do row 5, an A, 2 B's, 1, 2. Now we're going to pick up an A. I'm going to sew through the middle bead of those 3 beads. So hit these 3 A beads, this one. It's technically the sticking out bead, but it's kind of in a little bit. This is why I like you to keep the those beads loose. So just pop through that one. Put on your A, just like that. Another A. Through there, through the next bead. So this is what that looks like. And then 2 B's. So 1, 2, and an A. Okay, and then we're going to go to row 6. So now we want to start our decreases again. So I want to be exiting this bead right here, not this one, this one. So I'm just going to sew through this one, this one, down through this one, and then out this bead. And then we're going to put our beads on. So A, and a B, an A, a B, an A, a B, and an A, like that. Okay, so now actually I'm going to just let you get to that point and then come back and we'll continue. All right, let's continue. So we're going to go to row 7 and we want to, just make sure I'm clear, exit this bead. So I'm going to I'm on the move again. So go through this one. Got a little knot going. There we go. So through that bead and this one. Up through this one, then down through this one. So now I've got my thread where I want it. I'm going to pick up an A, so we're putting on 2 A's. So 1, 2, 2 B's, 1, 2, and 2 A's. Okay, now I want to turn around again for row 8. So exiting here, we want to exit here. Got it. Through this one, a diagonal, down through this one, and then up this one. Put on an A, three B's, 1, 2, 3, and an A. And then we want to decrease, we want to go in again. So we're going to move our thread so it's exiting here. So through this one. This one. Up through this one. this one. We're putting on an A. Two B's and an A. All right, so I'm just going to let you get to this point. Come on back. We'll finish up this side. Okay, let's finish it up. So row 10. So we want to exit here. So we have to move our thread again. This one. Going a little faster because we're done this so many times already. There we go. Now exiting in the right place. Pick up an A, a B, and an A. Whoops. So here I put on an A in the middle. That should have been a B. So let me back out. So an A, a B. There we go. And an A. I have to turn around again. This one. This one. This one. Now I'm exiting in the right place. Pick up an A. Then another A. Turn around. So we're exiting here, there, this one, and this one, this one, and then we're going to put on our final A bead of this side, like that, and you're just going to sew that thread in and then come back and we will work on the little brick stitch ends. All right, see you in a few. Okay, we're back. So now we're going to put on this brick stitch ending and we'll put the jump ring and the ear wire on too. Let me just make sure I have an ear wire nearby. Well, we'll get to that, but so what we're going to do is you're going to thread a needle with about, I don't know, maybe 1.5 feet of thread. You don't need much. You want to exit the top. See this row of 5 beads here? They want to exit the top one. So I just go through the one underneath it. And then through that top bead. And we're going to do a little brick stitch, which is always so pretty with peyote. So we're going to do it all in the gold beads. So we're going to pick up 2 of our gold beads. And I'm going to see if I can pull in a little bit and see if it stays clear. Okay, so 2 gold beads. And with brick stitch, you sew through these thread bridges. So here's the first thread bridge, so we're going to skip that one and we're going to sew through the second one right there. So that's the first thread bridge. No, sew through the second one like that, and that's what you have on. And then you want to sew right up through that second bead right there, and that puts the beads on. But you notice how it's, let me just back off a teeny bit. This bead is wonky, so a little tip for brick stitch when you're putting on the first 2 beads, go back through this bead and the bead on the diagonal underneath it, so in this direction like that, and that's going to lock that bead into place like that, and then up through this bead next to it and the bead above that one. Whoa, do you hear that wind? I don't know if you can hear it, but we are having like 60-mile-an-hour winds right now. The sun is shining. All right, so you have your first 2 stitches on. Now we're going to pick up a bead and you're going to sew through the next thread bridge. So the next thread bridge is this one right here. Pop that on and then right back up that same bead. One more. Bead, come through the back, sew through the thread bridge, then up the bead that you just put on. It's our first row. Now I'm just going to turn it around, just so I'm always sewing in this direction where it's comfortable for me. Okay, so that's what we have. I'm going to do that again. Pick up 2, exiting here. I'm going to skip the first thread bridge and sew through the second one right there. Back up through that second bead, and then we want to straighten this guy out. So sew through, put your needle through, then that one, and then the one on the diagonal this way, and then up this one and through the top. See how that straightens it out so nicely? Pick up another bead, sew through the next thread bridge. So here you're decreasing a little brick stitch. How cool is that? There, turn it around. Let's do that again. Pick up 2, sew through the next thread, the second thread bridge, up this one. Straighten that bead out by sewing through that bead, the one on the diagonal, sort of to the left, underneath it, up this one, and through this one. Okay, so now you have on several rows of your brick stitch. How fun was that? And easy, right? So just get to this point, come on back, and we'll put on the ear wire. Okay, this is where we are right now. So we're exiting one of these top Delica beads here. So I want you to put on one Delica and your jump ring. So make sure you use a closed jump ring, or you make sure it's closed very well. So I have the Delica and I have the jump ring. So I'm exiting the jump ring. I'm just going to sew back through the Delica, so looping around and through this bead. And then when I pull, it attaches that jump ring on, just like that. And I'm going to sew up through the one next to it, through that Delica, back through the jump ring, turn it around, so back through the Delica. Just make sure I see what I'm doing, okay? And then you're going to sew through just a number of beads to tighten it up. You can go through again if you like, if you think that would be helpful. And then we're going to clip off that thread and you're going to sew in the other thread. And then I want you to go to the other side, add your thread on to this side, just like we did with this side. And I want you to do all your brick stitch rows until you get to that top bead. So you have 2 beads at the top, and then meet me at that point and I'll show you how to get the very last bead on. But you already, you can just rewind, and I'll put a timestamp on when the brick stitch starts. All right, so see you in a few. Okay, so I have most of my other end on. I'm just at the last 2 beads. So really the last bead is just, you're gonna pick up a bead, a Delica, and you're gonna sew through this bead. And it's gonna go on sort of like sideways. So that's how we're gonna end it. Then I'm just going to sew through a number of beads and tie my thread off. Like that. This is what it looks like. So there's our earring. Let's put the ear wire on. So here you have your ring on. Here's my ear wire. Open it up. Pop it on. Close it up. Like so. And here's our earring. And I just love that color. Isn't that pretty? So let me put that earring out. Here are the blue ones. Right there. Here's the bracelet. What a pretty set, huh? Here's the ring. And we have the other earrings as well. Here, let me pop those out too. So we did these little tubes in the same pattern. And what you can do with this little tube, I'll link this down below, is you can actually put a bicone in, just like we've been doing with all the other, with the other pieces. It's very simple. So that should be pretty easy for you to get to do as well. All right, so there you go. There are all our little sort of Peyote Empress pieces so far. We'll see if we continue. I'm not sure if I come up with something else, but I wanted you to have the earring. All right, so I want to thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.